All right, so here we are, Andrew again from, Andrew, All Gas, No Breaks. As promised, we're here behind the paywall. I mean, dude, elephant in the room. The only reason I know you is because of G. Johns, who I have now blocked G. Johns, unfortunately. He was just bothering me way too much. It wasn't because of you, but like, dude, I mean, he was like...
You officially, you hit the block.
I hit the block. It was just like...
10 accounts.
Dude, I had to block all 10. It was just like way too much. And like, basically what happened, and you'll tell the story, but like you messaged me and a couple other people where he was like just doing bad stuff and kind of being like an asshole. And all I did was tell him, like after that, I told him like, dude, like why are these people hitting me up? Like this is, why are you doing this? This is like bad for you. Like why, I was like, man, stop, for your own sake, stop. And then like literally for the next month, he was like tagging me in these posts, like, with these weird captions being like, do you believe this? Like, what's a man to believe from another man? Like, and not DMing me. And I kept being like, bro, just like message me and talk if you want. Like, I don't, and tagging my girlfriend at a certain point. And then I'm like, man, I liked this dude when he was making videos of him playing basketball against a tiger. And now this is all he's posting and harassing me. I'm like, bro, I'm cleaning the feed. That's like, I don't hate him, but I'm like, I just got to clean the feed for a while.
I don't hate him either, man. I have nothing against him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great night with him in Portland.
Yeah, Brandon met him in person. I've never met him. Brandon met him, but the one tidbit we should tell you that I think you'll appreciate, I might even mention it, is like, Brandon, the strip club thing, because he's always talking about like being the king of the strip clubs, right?
Hilarious. Well, he on G. Johnson's account, he's always talking about Rouge. He's always talking about the strip club Rouge. He's like, he has this whole thing about like a part of the curriculum is like how to make yourself the master of the strip club, like for 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, to be the king of the room or whatever.
Yeah, and he's the strip club he's always like talking about on Instagram is Rouge in Portland, right? And so it was like, it was me, it was Jamel. Jamel was opening for me. Lance Bangs was there like filming, and so it was like the three of us hanging out and fucking. Dude,
the fact that, sorry to interrupt, but the fact that Lance Bangs was there, like an absolute legend, was there, and G. John had no idea, is so funny. Like,
well, yeah. So we're all we're all hanging out, and I'm like, oh, I'm only in Portland for 2 nights. Would love for you to take me to Rouge. You're always talking about Rouge, and G. John's, he's like, man, oh man, dude, I fucking wish we could go to Rouge, man. I wish we could go to Rouge any night but tonight. And I was like, what's going on tonight? And he's like, man, listen, questions just lead to more questions. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're always talking about Rouge. Why can't we just go to Rouge tonight?
It wasn't even late.
It wasn't even late. It was like 10.
He was like,
it was like 10 or
dodging
11.
It. I've heard versions
he kept dodging and being like, oh, literally any night but tonight. I want nothing more than to be at Rouge right now, but I just, I can't do it tonight.
Well, it was like, and it reminded me when we were talking earlier about the Antarctica thing. Like, they're so obsessed with it, but it's like, when it comes out, why don't you go? Why don't you go?
Right, because it was like, oh, I'm only here for, this is the night to do it. And we all ended up hanging out until like 2 a.m. So I was like, I don't know why. I don't know what was preventing us from going to Rouge that night.
He might not
And
actually
I never
go to
got
Rouge.
And I never got an answer.
No.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he's an enigmatic figure.
So
I have nothing against him. It's just I don't like to do business. I don't want to grow his audience, you know.
yeah. So I want you to tell your story, but to preface it, I get a message from you late one night. I like check my DMs, and it's like, dude, what's the deal with your boy G Johns? I just had like the worst experience with him.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, wait, what? So let's start from the beginning here, because like you found him. Like, when did you decide? Start with like whenever you decided to interview him, because I've tried to in the past and it's really hard.
So I'm in Portland. I'm at my best friend's house in downtown Portland. We're just kicking it. His roommate comes over and he's like, "Yo, man, are you making any content while you're here?" And I was like, "No, I'm just kicking it." And he's like, "Dude, you have to interview this dude G Johns who lives in Beaverton." And I was like, "Why?" And then he was like, "Oh, check out his Instagram, whatever." I was like, "All right, cool. You know, I'll do something." So I I DM him like, "Hey, man, do you want to interview for my show? Like, not for your show. Like, do you want to be on my shit?" I showed it to him. He's like, "Sure. Let's discuss a talent fee." I was like, "No, I'm not going to pay you, but I will give links to your social media." It was just going to be a regular interview. So he was like, "All right, meet me at my gym." Okay. So I show up to his gym, and
How
he
far
just
of a drive was
immediately-
this?
20 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
He immediately just starts like filming. Like he pulled out his phone and was just like filming. And he's like, "Yo, like we're out here." And he's like, "Do you mind if I film?" I was like, "No, I mean, it's for my show, but you can film if you want." But I mean, he's holding the phone like an inch from his face the whole time, filming me. And so I'm interviewing him, and he's holding the phone in between us, like this, like pointing the phone at my face while I'm interviewing him. So it was probably a 5-minute interview. Not very long. It was actually a pretty good interview. We just like talked about the curriculum, and he was like telling me about his like pickup techniques or whatever.
What was he saying?
I don't really remember. He was just talking about how like dudes are attracted to him because like a lot of American males are like insecure about their sexuality, and that he's basically saying that he was an alpha male and that all women love him, and that everyone needs to follow his way because he recognizes the American male as like the messiah, that kind of shit.
Wait, because that's interesting, because like I know people who have like paid for the curriculum, which is, by the way, part of the mystery for me is that like he's always advertised the curriculum, and for the longest time nobody even knew what it was and you couldn't figure it out. And he like advertises it with these title cards that are just like a sentence long,
Yeah.
where he's like the top 5 most important things are like females, zoo animals, domestic animals, like, and the male, like. But when you buy the curriculum, it's just like those cards. Like there's no lessons,
Word, interesting.
So I don't even know what it is.
He was an interesting character. I mean,
That's
I
funny that he was
hired,
actually like speaking on it.
oh yeah, we had a good time. I mean, it was actually a positive interaction. The interview, it was fine. So he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go," and so he goes back inside, and I go, "Oh, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, hey, can you go grab a release form from him inside?" So I mean, she goes in, and he doesn't even look at her. Like she like refuses to look at her, whatever, and he just like brushes her off like she didn't even exist. Like she's like, "Hey, can you sign?" And he was just like completely. And so he comes outside, and I go, "Hey, man, just so you know, like we do put this on Patreon and stuff, so you have to sign this standard media release form." And he was like, "Oh, I just I don't know if I can sign a form." He's like, but
Oh, yeah. See?
yeah. And he was like, just post it. He was like, just post it. And I was like, no, like I actually have to get this form signed. And he was like, yeah, like if you send it to me like right now, I'm gonna go home and like get it signed. Like, I got that. And I was like, hey man, like, it's all, like I'm not gonna post this if you don't sign it. I'm not gonna wait for you. And he was like, I promise you, like man to man. He's like, I fucking promise you, I will sign this. Just send it to me. You know what I mean? Get it ready to go. So I go. I didn't think much of it, So I go back to Seattle. And I see that he's already selling footage of our interview. That was supposed to be for my show. Like what he took on his phone, he's selling it for like $15, and there's people buying it. So that's already illegal. Like, so it's already an illegal thing. But I'm not tripping. I'm like, this dude's cool. It's whatever. Hopefully he signs the release form. I was being mad cool. So then he messages me, and he was like, why did your, woman approach me or something? that. And I was like, Amanda, she's my production assistant. Like, wanted to get a release form signed. And he was like, unless your woman like gives me an on-camera apology that you post to all your accounts, he's like, I won't sign the release form. And I'm like,
wow.
man, I was just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? So basically, I just